How's it going, YouTube? Got FourthStarTCG, and today I've got another discussion video for you. It's been a while since I've done one of these, but as we're nearing the end of 2020, I wanted to do a video on just 2020 has been the most consequential year in Pokemon since probably 2016 or 2017. So I think it's really important to just give a little bit of a retrospective of the year and discuss some of the best and worst things that happened. So today I've got two best things that happened for Pokemon in 2020 and two worst things that happened for Pokemon in 2020. I might do a few more of these 2020 retrospectives, but for this video I just wanted to talk about sort of the biggest highlights and the biggest lowlights of the year for me. Of course, this is just my opinion, so if you have any other thoughts, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. So without any further ado, let's crack into it for the best things that happened to Pokemon in 2020. I figure we'll start it off with the good stuff. So the best thing, just the number one best thing, and the other ones aren't necessarily in order, but this I do think is the best thing that happened to Pokemon in 2020, is just the massive influx of new collectors into the hobby. Now, a lot of people they don't like to talk about the influx of collectors. They like to sort of take a negative view and look at people who they don't necessarily like as much as collectors. They want to talk about flippers. They want to talk about investors. But the amount of just people who are coming in with a wholesome enjoyment of the cards and a desire to collect has really been fantastic this year, and you see that when these large market rises happen because attention gets brought back into the hobby. People who are away for a long time, they see a news article and then they're like, oh yeah, I remember that. It's Pokemon cards, man, that's so crazy that they're worth that much. When I was a kid, I had these cards, and just it's everyone. It's your random neighbor down the street who gets into cards after you show them your collection, all the way up to famous people, celebrities like Logic. If you weren't following Logic as he was getting back into cards, oh my goodness, it was just the most fantastic thing to watch because you could really see yourself in what he was doing. When he bought his base set booster box and he opened the packs, and he talked about how when he was a kid he didn't have the money to buy cards. His family didn't have the money to give him cards as gifts. That's how you do it when you were a kid. You didn't have a job, you couldn't work, your family gave you cards, you bought some cards with your pocket money here and there. He wasn't able to do that. And he said that now he's this successful rapper and he's got some money. He can afford to go out and buy the original base set of Pokemon cards and have that experience of opening up the original base set. And then, of course, he went out and bought the biggest card in the hobby, PSA 10 first edition base set Charizard, for a record price at the time. I believe he paid about $180,000. It's sitting pretty right now. But again, just seeing that level of engagement, that level of excitement from, someone who really has the same collecting journey as someone like me and someone like all of us. I feel like this is a very common collecting story. People, they collected when they were kids, they stopped for a while, then something gets them back in, and they realize that, oh hey, now I have a job, I have a little extra money, I can afford to buy those cards that I idolized as a kid. The kids on the playground that had the holographic Charizard, they were king of recess. And now they can go out and they can buy one of those cards with the extra money they have, and that really sort of brings them in. So just that whole watching that go down with Logic, that was one of my favorite moments of 2020, just to see all these people come back into the hobby. Even Logic has a lot more money than I do, but we're on the same collecting journey. We're rediscovering our passions that we had as we were kids, and now we're able to buy those cards again. And it's just really fantastic to see that, and that was just one of the most exciting things about 2020. And even people who, might not necessarily have as wholesome of a collecting journey as someone like Logan Paul, who again, his interest is just, he loves Pokemon. You can see it when he opens cards. You can see it when he talks about his cards. You can see it in the production quality of his videos. He really cares about this stuff. And, when there's people who care about it, there's people who are there to take advantage of it. And maybe he has some unsavory influences. I'm sure we all know who I'm talking about. But just to see the excitement there, to see what these people have done when they get back into the hobby, to see them, with the same excitement as all of us, watching as they open cards, watching as they get cards in the mail, it's really great. So to see this expansion of interest in Pokemon just at a level that we really have not seen since probably 2016 was the last time, and even that was, not on the same level as 2020. So that was the best thing about Pokemon this year, just seeing all of these wonderful new people come into the hobby. And of course, when you have a ton of people coming into the hobby, some of them aren't going to be so wonderful. But the vast majority of people who did come into the hobby this year were genuine people looking to, have some fun and, do what we all want to do, which is collect these cards. So the second best thing that happened in 2020 was people taking advantage of this massive increase in interest in Pokemon and market values in Pokemon, and turning it into some great causes, some great charity work. Perfect example of this that I can think of is Gary, King Pokemon, his base set booster box break with Steve Aoki, where he really hyped this up, and all of the money that was donated through the stream went to autism services. And this is a cause that's near and dear to Gary's heart. Spoken to him several times about this, and talked to him in general about his collecting goals and his collecting journey. And just to see him doing something like this, taking advantage of the massive interest in Pokemon, tapping into all of that money that's pumping through the market and redirecting it into something really, really necessary was just fantastic to see. And I see a lot of people name dropping charity events, name dropping charities and stuff when they do big things in Pokemon. But it's really awesome to see when that's actually followed through on. People like Leonhardt have been raising money through Pokemon for many years. Leonhardt, especially in 2019, with his huge NAMI fundraiser. That was just fantastic to see that, the amount of interest and money that brought for a really worthy cause. And again, just to see all of this excitement and money channeled into some really great causes has been fantastic to see. Again, you don't, like, a lot of people hate on these people who do these big events, these big YouTubers and stuff. And you don't have to love what they do, Personally, I'm not a huge fan of Leonhardt's video style, but I can still appreciate the fact that he's funneled tens of thousands of dollars to incredibly worthy charity events. So when people, post about how they don't like how these YouTubers do videos, it's like, okay, that's good, but and you're free to have that opinion, but it's so fantastic to see them channeling the communities that they have generated and created into these awesome charity events. So that's another thing that I think was just the best of 2020. So now we've talked about the best, we've talked about the great things that have happened. Now it's time to get into the bad. Of course, 2020 was not a fantastic year for a lot of people. And when there's good, there's always bad. So the biggest problem in 2020 was modern product availability. I think I'm fairly confident in saying that a lot of people have the same feeling about modern product availability. It's a drastic shift from what we've seen in the past with Pokemon. It caught a lot of people off guard. It, you know, it elicited a lot of feelings from people as they weren't used to not being able to go to Target and buy a Champion's Path Elite Trainer box, for example. You know, people, you know, whenever there's an awesome Pokemon set, you could just go to Target and buy it, go to Walmart and buy it, go to your local store and buy it for retail price. And probably if you found, you know, a local gaming store on eBay or something, you might be even able to get it for below retail price. I don't think anyone these days is paying full retail price for, you know, or anyone before this was paying full retail price for something like a booster box or an Elite Trainer box. The MSRP for a booster box, just so you know, is $143. So people are never paying that. They're paying, you know, $90, $80 for a booster box. Not anymore. Modern product availability, you know, it was a double-edged sword, because you had Pokemon creating these fantastic sets like Hidden Fates, like Vivid Voltage with the amazing rares, and you know, and then you also had interest in Pokemon skyrocketing. So you had great sets that people loved, and you had a ton of people wanting to buy those great sets, and the product vanished really quickly. And Pokemon has not been able to keep up with demand. And a lot of people like to turn their fire on so-called scalpers, people who will buy up this product and then attempt to resell it at higher prices. That's a whole nother video. I think Scott covered this very well in his video on scalpers. So I won't go too into depth there, but what I will say is that while we may not like the fact that people will, you know, buy out product from stores, it's a pretty scummy move, I'd say, to, you know, buy out product from stores and resell it for higher online. That's a response to a market reality that dictates that happens. You know, so for every person who has, you know, high morals, who says, you know what, I'm just going to buy one Champion's Path Elite Trainer box and I'll leave the rest for everyone else. You've got 5 people who are going to step into that void and say, you know what, I'm going to buy them all and sell them on eBay for, you know, 15% markup or whatever it is now. I actually think the prices on Champion's Path Elite Trainer boxes have gone down quite a bit recently. So the response to this market reality that enables scalping is simply for Pokemon to print more product, you know, make more product available, ship a bunch of product out to Target and Walmart. So you put the scalpers out of business, right? You make it so that people can buy this product at retail price, and so that they have no need to go to the people who have bought it all up in order to sell it for higher. But Pokemon has not been able to do that. They've not been able to keep up with the demand for modern product like Hidden Fates, like Champion's Path, like Vivid Voltage, and what I'm sure is going to be a similar thing with Shining Fates. I can only hope that Pokemon's learned from 2020, and in 2021, anyone who wants to be able to buy Shining Fates at retail price is able to do so. Now, are you entitled to Pokemon cards at retail price? No. People get very annoyed about the fact that they can't buy cards at retail price, and, you know, it's just not worth getting worked up over. But the solution to it is, of course, for Pokemon to step in and to do something about this. And they really haven't done so in terms of, they've done like these small scale Hidden Fates reprints, but that's not really going to move the needle that much in terms of how much these are selling for and how much people want these sets. Now I think, you know, the best thing for Pokemon to do is to just sort of do what they've always done, is to, you know, print a set to demand for 2 years, and then after that, if there's not the demand there anymore, retire it and, you know, let the secondary market work its will. But, you know, to do things like have one wave of Hidden Fates and then just sort of keep doing these reprint waves that never seem to satisfy the demand, that's, you know, not necessarily the best option. Now, of course, there's probably stuff going on behind the scenes that I'm aware of, but the market reality on the ground is that Pokemon has not been able to respond to this. So that's a very significant negative in 2020, and something that I really hope is remedied in the future. And last but not least, the second worst thing about 2020, and this is just sort of a function of me being engaged with the Pokemon community and on E4 quite a bit. I would say that the second worst thing about 2020 is the Pokemon market prognosticators, the people who come out with their sort of all or nothing, fire blazing hot takes on what the Pokemon market is going to do. I think if 2020 has proved anything, it's that the Pokemon market is wildly unpredictable. At the beginning, we had like some meme threads on the forum about like, this was back in January or something when the COVID was just starting to become a worldwide concern. Everyone was saying like, oh, is coronavirus going to drop cards to 2007 prices, like all this jokes. Everyone was saying like, oh yeah, there's probably going to be a drop in prices, you know, that modern stuff, watch out, that's really going to crash. That didn't happen. And even the people who were saying, you know, Pokemon will probably ride this out, they said, oh, with that lower value stuff, that modern stuff, that's gonna, you know, tank. That definitely did not happen. Modern skyrocketed, everything skyrocketed, and everything skyrocketed, and like everything skyrocketed up until maybe the last week of October when all the hype sort of died down from all the Logan Paul celebrity craziness, and then people started realizing why unlimited base set is called unlimited base set is because there's a lot of it out there, and the prices on that started going down quite a bit. But, you know, there were people who were saying, like, Pokemon is a risk-free investment. The prices are going to skyrocket forever. And then you also had people who were saying, for 6 months, mind you, not people, like, coming in at the end of October and saying, these prices are a little strange. People in March, in April, in May, in June, they're saying, the crash is coming. It's coming tomorrow. You know, sell everything now. You know, the retrace is imminent. You know, we're really going to see these, you know, this first edition base set Charizard at $100,000. That's just not, no, this isn't going to happen. We're going to be going down to something more reasonable, like $65,000 very soon. Ask them how that turned out. Charizard just set a new record a couple days ago, $350,000. Crazy, crazy price, but that's what things are doing right now. The market is so unpredictable. Even stuff like first edition base set PSA 10s, you know, you had people saying, you know, this is the hardest stuff to grade, you know, the original base set cards and the highest grade, this stuff is not going to go down. And then you look at the recent sale prices for first edition base set, and a good percentage of the cards went down in value, even in the PSA 10 grade. Of course, and then you've got stuff like the Charizard, which, you know, went up like crazy, even while the lesser first edition base set, I say lesser first edition base set cards, did go down in value. So the people who make predictions about the Pokemon market, who say like the crash is imminent, it's coming, or the people who say, you know, Pokemon is going to moon forever, you know, it's really hilarious. And I think that 2020 has really shown that making anything outside of an incredibly nuanced take on the Pokemon market is not going to be a good time for anyone. And the people who are out there saying that, you know, Pokemon is a risk-free investment, or the people who've been saying for 6 months that Pokemon is going to crash and it's going to crash yesterday. No, wait, I meant yesterday. Okay, no, for real this time. Yesterday it was going to crash. 2020 has just wiped the floor with them, as 2020 tends to do, wipe the floor with things. But yeah, these overall narratives about the Pokemon market have really gone by the wayside. And the best thing that I think that people can do is just sort of hold on for the ride. If you think you see something in the market, you see some imbalance, by all means try to take advantage of it. But trying to predict the Pokemon market, trying to make these sort of investment-based calls, it's, you know, it's not the best. And a lot of people have said this, don't try to time the market, just stay the course, stay steady. You know, that's what I've been doing. I was buying in 2017, 2018 when the market for Pokemon cards was not where it is now. I've been buying throughout this year when the market's gone crazy, and the market's, in some places, and so I don't want to make one of these generalizations, in some places the market's going down, some places cards are becoming more affordable. I'm still buying, so that's sort of the best way to continue your collecting. So I hope you guys enjoyed my best and worst of 2020 video, and I'll hopefully do a couple more of these discussion videos and have them up for you soon. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and stick around for more videos.